Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening, I am Tammy Reed in with your VON Major News package for today, Monday, 2nd September 2019. In our lead stories, nationally, first day of academic school year begins. Nevis Ministry of Education issues notice on construction work at schools. And COP Ian Creeley officially resigns, expresses gratitude to the police force. Regionally, Bahamas battered by Hurricane Dorian. Internationally, Kevin Hart suffers major injuries in car crash. And in sports, India completes series whitewash against West Indies. We'll have the details to these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse, VON.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. Students and teachers of various schools across St. Kitts and Nevis began their 2019-2020 academic school year today, Monday, September 2nd. However, students from the Ivor Walters Primary School, Charlestown Secondary School were inconvenienced because of the construction work, which up until the official reopening of the school was taking place. Students of the Gingerland Secondary School were told to attend school today to help with cleaning up the facility, after which they returned home as it was a half-school day. In spite of the construction work at the schools, the Ministry of Education here on Nevis issued a notice on the above-mentioned and reads in part, and I quote, "In keeping with our child-friendly schools initiative, the Ministry of Education takes this opportunity to inform the general public that parents of students of the Ivor Walters Primary School are asked to note that sessions will resume on Wednesday, 4th September 2019. Parents of students attending the Charlestown Secondary School are asked to note that students who are currently in Forms 4 to 6 should attend school for the remainder of the week. All other students will resume school on Monday, 9th September 2019. In light of the aforementioned, questions such as why the government chose to wait until the last moment to try and finish up work at the schools, and why is it the same occurrence happened again this year, remain in the public domain. Commissioner of Police COP Mr. Ian Creeley's last official day as the top cop of the Royal St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force RSCNPF was August 31st, 2019. In a statement from Mr. Creeley, which referred to the ranks and file of police force, reads in part, and I quote, "The size of your success is measured by the strength of your desire, the size of your dreams, and how to handle disappointment along the way. Do not become angry when we fail to win an argument or when we feel offended or neglected," end of quote. Mr. Creeley, who served in the force for around 35 years, stated, "I wish to inform the general membership of the organization that after much consideration and deep introspection, I have decided that the time to transition to the next stage of my life has come. This was done in order to take up a regional appointment with the OECS Commission as resident ambassador and head of mission for the embassies of the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States in Rabat, the Kingdom of Morocco, North Africa." He expressed his profound thanks and sincere appreciation to the ranks and files of the RSCNPF for their support during his tenure in the public service in the area of policing and law enforcement. At present, the Acting Commissioner of Police is Mr. Hilroy Brandy. The VON Newsline contacted the police force and the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis to ask if anyone has been chosen for the post of Commissioner of Police or if Mr. Brandy will officially take the role, but to no avail. Following Dorian's direct hit on the Bahamas as a Category 5 hurricane on Sunday, Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris has conveyed well wishes to the people of Bahamas and to the country's Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis. Prime Minister Harris was quoted as saying, "We are praying for the people of the Bahamas and encourage him, Prime Minister Minnis, to be strong." The Prime Minister added that the government and people of St. Kitts and Nevis have the people of the Bahamas firmly in our thoughts and prayers during their time of greatest need, and we stand in solidarity with them as they try to cope with the loss of life and property in the aftermath. He also assured Prime Minister Minnis and stated that we will do whatever we can to support and help rebuild and recover. Hurricane Dorian made its initial landfall on Sunday at Elbow Cay, Abacos in the Bahamas at 12:40 p.m., then made a second landfall on Great Abaco Island near Marsh Harbor at 2 p.m., packing maximum sustained winds of 185 miles per hour. It made its third landfall on Sunday night around 11 p.m. on the eastern end of Grand Bahama Island, packing maximum sustained winds of 180 miles per hour. Late Sunday night, the Bahamas press reported the first recorded fatality via Twitter, saying that 7-year-old Lashino McIntosh drowned after his family attempted to relocate their Abaco home. 4 nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis are the recipients of scholarships from the government of the Republic of Cuba during an official presentation ceremony on Friday, August 31st at the Embassy of the Republic of Cuba in Bastia. Rashumba Gilbert and Yawoska Irish were awarded scholarships to pursue careers in medicine, while Dr. Denicia O'Flaherty Kelly was awarded a scholarship to pursue a specialization in internal medicine. Travis Warner was awarded a scholarship to pursue a degree in health technology. The Cuban ambassador, His Excellency Abelardo Fabio Hernandez Ferrer, stated that the Cuban government places great emphasis strengthening their relationships with other countries, has said that the government of Cuba was delighted to once more offer students from St. Kitts and Nevis the opportunity to further their studies. Remarks of gratitude were also extended to the Republic of Cuba by Dr. Tricia S. Dale, Senior Assistant Secretary in the Ministry of Education, on behalf of the Ministry of Education. Mrs. Sonia Buddy Thompson, Foreign Service Officer in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs with responsibility for Cuban matters, and by the President of the St. Kitts and Nevis Cuban Alumni Association, Mr. Hollis Prentice. The ceremony was attended by parents, well-wishers, as well as a few students who are currently pursuing studies in Cuba. St. Kitts and Nevis has had diplomatic relations with Cuba since May 10, 1995. The annual West Bastia Back-to-School Party held on Saturday, August 31st, saw hundreds of children receiving back-to-school packages prior to reopening of school today. Hosted by People's Labour Party PLP Deputy National Political Leader and Team Unity's caretaker for St. Christopher III, West Bastia, Senator the Honorable Akila Byron Nisbet, the party was held at the Dr. William Connor Primary School. While this was the third time Senator Akila Byron Nisbet would have distributed backpacks, it was the second year that a full-fledged party was being held. Food and drinks were in plenty for both the young and the old. Meantime, area representative for St. Christopher No. 8, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, has distributed school packages to almost 50 persons that attended the Moravian Church in Keyon, St. Kitts. The package was made up of a school bag, pens, pencil, erasers, books, and rulers. In St. Peter's, which is also a part of St. Christopher No. 8, school bags were given out to children of the Church of God at Cistern Hill, Lower Monkey Hill. The Wesleyan Holiness Church in Stapleton was also recipients of bags to secure their books and other school materials. Minister Hamilton indicated that he is comfortable with supporting the churches in their efforts to raise good families. On July 17, 2019, an outbreak of Ebola in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, was declared a public health emergency of international PHEIC concern by the Director General of the World Health Organization, WHO. Ebola is a highly contagious virus that causes a rare but severe and often fatal illness in humans. The time interval from infection to onset of symptoms ranges from 2 to 21 days and includes symptoms such as fever, fatigue, muscle pain, and headache. But what is the possibility of Ebola reaching the shores of St. Kitts and Nevis, and are we prepared to deal with the disease in the eventuality it does? Chief Medical Officer here in St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Hazel Laws, in an interview with the VON Newsline on Friday, 30th August, explained that the incidence of Ebola in the Caribbean is low.
Based on the communication that we received from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, we are in a low and extremely low risk zone. So in other words, the risk of Ebola virus reaching the shores of the Caribbean is extremely low. And the reason for this is the World Health Organization has mounted a very good response to the outbreak that is taking place in the Democratic Republic of Congo. And persons living in the hot spots, they have to be medically checked, etc., before they move across borders. And so the risk of a case reaching our shores for now is extremely low. However, it's not impossible.
She further moved to outline that the St. Kitts and Nevis government, in collaboration with the Ministry of Health, is working to ensure that the Ebola virus disease preparedness response and recovery plan is up to international standards.
This plan is really guiding our preparedness efforts. So, for example, there is an Ebola virus disease working group or committee of persons who really meet to really guide the Federation's preparedness activities. And so we have had 2 meetings already. And so action is being taken locally to ensure that we attain the highest level of preparedness, just in case somebody shows up at the airport or the seaport and this person may be a suspected or a probable case of Ebola virus. We should be, or we will be, in a state of readiness for such.
Chief Medical Officer here in St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Hazel Laws. In October 2014, St. Kitts and Nevis joined a number of countries in the region to place a ban on people traveling from Liberia and Guinea as a precaution against the deadly Ebola virus. Some 25 church leaders across St. Kitts and Nevis on Thursday, 29th August, received their instruments of appointment for the National School Chaplaincy Program, NSCP. NSCP is an initiative of the Ministry of the Ecclesiastical Affairs that provides support for students, teachers, and parents in personal, moral, emotional, and spiritual development matters. Speaking at the ceremony at the Sugar Bay Club Conference Room in St. Kitts, Senior Minister and Minister of Ecclesiastical Affairs, the Honorable Vance Amory, noted that it is pertinent to have the schools and churches working in tandem, as this can create a more positive path for students.
The church has been seen and as the last resort. Only when something distressful happens, we turn to the church as the go-to. Is it too late? Never too late. But our approach must be that we will seek, through the involvement of pastors in the chaplaincy program in our school system and interacting through the teachers, with the teachers, to the homes, that we can change the direction.
The minister emphasized that the things of God must remain in the school.
One time, we had the difficulty of teachers saying that we don't want assembly in our schools. Assembly is a waste of time. And I remember going to the staff room when we had a meeting shortly after I'd heard that kind of comment from leaders, senior teachers, graduates, and said to them in that meeting, there will be no debate on the matter. I was affirming one thing, that we will not discuss the removal of the things of God and spiritual things from our schools.
The Honorable Vance Amory. 7 bills will be presented in the National Assembly on Tuesday, September 3rd, when Parliament convenes in St. Kitts at 10 a.m. at the National Assembly Chambers, Government Headquarters in Bastia, one of which is the National Assembly Elections Amendment Bill. The bill had its first reading on March 28, 2018. The National Assembly Elections Amendment Bill 2017 seeks to amend Section 37A, replacing the expression ordinarily resident on the registration date with the words ordinarily resident for at least 6 months before the registration date. During the sitting, Attorney General, the Honorable Vincent Byron Jr., will move the second reading of the National Assembly Elections Amendment Bill. The Attorney General will also seek leave to have read a first time Courts of Justice Fees Bill 2019. Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Timothy Harris will seek leave to introduce and have read a first time Non-Governmental Organizations Amendment Bill 2019. The Prime Minister will have read a second time Limited Partnerships Amendment Bill 2019, Trust Amendment Bill 2019, Companies Amendment Bill 2019, and Money Services Business Amendment Bill 2019. Finally, 8 students from 8 secondary schools across the Federation were on Friday, 30th August, awarded with the St. Kitts Nevis Anguilla Trading and Development Company, TDC, Warren C. Tyson Memorial Scholarship during a ceremony that was held at the TDC Training Room on 4th Street in Bastia at 10 a.m. The 8 awardees are Earl Jeffers, Charlestown Secondary, Sasha Brown, Gingerland Secondary, Sanika Hall, Bastia High, Shaniqua Edmeen, Keon High, Kaylon Morton, Charles E. Mills Secondary, Janessa Taylor, Sadler Secondary, Jace Green, Virtuals High, and Destiny Paris, Washington Archibald High School. The scholarship program is designed to assist and support the students entering the secondary schools across St. Kitts and Nevis, and noted that students are eligible to receive financial assistance throughout their secondary and tertiary school tenures. They are also afforded the opportunity to work at TDC during their vacations as well as on Saturdays, which help them to develop socially and professionally. Since its inception, approximately 150 students have gone through the program. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at Von Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Life can be more fulfilling when we take the time out to smell the roses. And that's why your friends and family at the Bank of Nevis are experts at picking the flowers that best describe you. Whether you're planning to treat yourself after a long work week or finally getting around to that closet update, you deserve all the special things that life has to offer, and the Bond Visa card is here to help you achieve it. With just a swipe, you can turn a last-minute lunch date with friends and family into something worth remembering, with memories that will last a lifetime. Pampering yourself just got a whole lot easier, and after all, you deserve every refreshing moment of it. The ability to make your travel arrangements at your own convenience, whether by sea or by air, now rests within the palm of your hand. With a single swipe, the Bond Visa card can put a world of difference between life and truly living, whereas the only limit you may have is your own imagination. Apply today. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life.
Welcome back, and now the regional news in detail. The most powerful storm to hit the Bahamas since records began has torn off roofs and caused severe flooding. The slow-moving Category 5 Dorian is the second strongest Atlantic hurricane on record. The U.S. states of Florida, Georgia, North and South Carolina have all declared states of emergency. A former aide to ex-Prime Minister Perry Christie, Latra Ramming, told the BBC it was as though a tornado had swept through Marsh Harbor on the Abacus with a surge as high as a two-story building, bringing intense flooding. Cars have been flipped over and roofs torn off. Matthew Cockram, a spokesman for the Red Cross, explains.
The information that's coming from the Bahamas is very limited, but the little bit of assessment information we're getting shows that the impact has been really severe, likely incredibly severe. As many as 13,000 houses could have been destroyed, that there might no longer be any clean water readily available on Abaco because of storm surges. We're really anticipating that the humanitarian needs will be quite severe.
In related news, an 8-year-old boy has become the first victim of Hurricane Dorian in the Bahamas, where winds of up to 200 miles per hour ripped roofs from homes, overturned cars, and tore down power lines. The National Hurricane Center has described the storm as life-threatening. The storm has caused devastation over the northern Bahamas, with more than 13,000 homes destroyed or damaged, according to the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. According to news.sky.com, Ingrid McIntosh told Eyewitness News that her grandson, Latrino McIntosh, had drowned in the Abaco Islands in the northern Bahamas. His sister is also understood to be missing. Finally, out of the Barbados, the Ministry of Health and Wellness intends to reach out to corporate Barbados for assistance in refurbishing district hospitals and polyclinics located in areas where companies do business. Minister of Health and Wellness Jeffrey Bostic said health had also been identified as one of the priority areas to which Barbadians in the diaspora would be willing to return home for the week gathering next year will be asked to contribute. Meanwhile, Barbados' aging population continues to present a challenge to government in terms of the availability of institutionalized care. The minister said the number of people seeking placement in district hospitals was way above the capacity, and even with the alternative care of the elderly program, where government funded private health care for 220 persons, there were still not enough places. This was an issue which was high on the ministry's agenda, he said, and a number of useful ideas were being examined to tackle the problem. That's it for our regional stories. Stay with us for news around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. Comedian and actor Kevin Hart was taken to hospital with major back injuries on Sunday following a car accident in Los Angeles. According to the California Highway Patrol, Hart was being driven in his 1970 Plymouth Barracuda on Mulholland Highway at the time of the accident. The driver, Jared Black, lost control of the car and it tumbled into an embankment, the report stated. Black also sustained major back injuries. A third passenger was unhurt. The accident happened just after midnight. Black, the fiancée of the third passenger, Rebecca Buxterman, was determined not to have been driving under the influence at the time of the crash. Hart was taken to Northridge Hospital Medical Center and the driver was taken to another hospital, the patrol report said. Hart is known for his stand-up comedy and comic roles in movies such as Ride Along and The Secret Life of Pets. Thousands of secondary school and university students have boycotted classes in Hong Kong in the latest pro-democracy protests. Organizers said 10,000 pupils from 200 secondary schools did not turn up for the first day for the new school year. The student action comes on the same day as a call for a broad two-day strike and large rally. Protests over the weekend saw some of the worst violence in weeks between protesters and police. More in this BBC report.
If our society is normal and healthy, of course, students should enjoy their school life and focus on their studies. But unfortunately, we're not at that state. We don't have that luxury because Hong Kong is being destroyed and ruined by our own government and Beijing. So everyone just need to come out and fight for our city to preserve our home.
Finally, the U.S. envoy to Afghanistan has shown President Ashraf Ghani a draft peace deal that the U.S. has negotiated with the Taliban. An advisor to the president said Mr. Ghani will continue to hold discussions with the envoy. Salmeh Khalilzad said. We have more in this BBC report.
After 9 rounds of talks between the US and Taliban, a draft deal appears to have been finalized. A copy of that framework agreement has been shown to the Afghan leaders. No details of the deal have emerged. Officials say President Ashraf Ghani will soon share his views on the draft. His feedback is important because the Afghan government has been largely sidelined from the talks until now. The Taliban view Mr. Ghani as an American stooge. The proposed deal centers on a U.S. troop withdrawal from Afghanistan in return for security guarantees from the Taliban.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Get the hottest summer deal on your vehicle from TDC Automotive and pay no deposit. Finance your vehicle at the lowest interest rate ever with TDC Financial Services for as low as $775 per month. We're giving you 1 year free insurance with TDC Insurance Company on selected models. Free insurance? Now that's hot! Save even more with free servicing for up to 1 year. Free licensing, registration, accessories, and tinting. Save thousands and get lit with the hottest summer deal from TDC Automotive. We're #1 for a reason. Terms and conditions apply.
Welcome back, and now the sports in detail. India has defeated the West Indies in the Test series of the ICC World Test Championship at Kingston. It was held from August 30th to September 2nd, 2019. The scores were India 416 and 168 for declared, West Indies 117 and 210 in 59.5 overs. India won by 257 runs. Finally, in cricket, promotion chasing Glamorgan have signed West Indies opening batsman Craig Brathwaite for the final 3 games of their Championship Division 2 season. He replaces Sean Marsh, who has rejoined Western Australia for pre-season preparations. The 26-year-old from Barbados has played in 58 tests for West Indies, hitting 8 centuries. Brathwaite joins Glamorgan for their game against Worcestershire on Tuesday, 10th September, straight from Test duty. Brathwaite's high point in the UK came when he hit 134 and 95 against England to help win a test at Headingley in 2017. He has had short spells with Yorkshire at Nottinghamshire, from whom he averaged 40 in the final 4 matches of 2018. Glamorgan will also have to replace batsman Charlie Humphrey, who has rejoined Queensland for one-day trials. That's it for the sports segment. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back, and now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. Weather tonight, partly cloudy to cloudy with a 70% or a high chance of showers. Weather tomorrow, partly cloudy with a 30% or a low chance of showers after midday. Winds east at 19 to 30 kilometers per hour or 10 to 16 knots. Seas not exceeding 1.2 meters or 4 feet. And sunrise tomorrow is at 5:57 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for today, Monday, 2nd September 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, first day of academic school year begins. Nevis Ministry of Education issues notice on construction work at schools. And COP Ian Quealy officially resigns, expresses gratitude to the police force. Regionally, Bahamas battered by Hurricane Dorian. Internationally, Kevin Hart suffers major injuries in car crash. And in sports, India completes series whitewash against West Indies. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tammy Reed, wishing you a pleasant evening.